From massive AAA titles to your favourite indie gems, more and more studios are turning to external teams for help. But what does that really mean for artists and for game studios? You've probably seen concept art studios like Athena Productions pop up on ArtStation or LinkedIn. Maybe you've even applied to a job with us, maybe seen one of our pieces or videos, or even spotted our work in a title you love. And it's been a turbulent few years in the games industry, to say the very least. And we are seeing the rise of smaller, leaner, more agile teams. And one standout example, Sample Interactive. They developed Claire Obscure Expedition 33 with a core team of around 30 people, using trusted external partners to scale their production as and when they needed it. So whether you're a concept artist building your career, a developer building your dream game, or just a curious gamer who loves to see behind the scenes content, this is a video for you. We're breaking down what outsourcing actually is and why it is so common in game development, how the process works, and what it's really like to be part of an outsourcing studio, especially as an artist. Gaming is global. By 2027, over 1.4 billion people will be playing games. That's nearly 1 in 6 people on the planet, which is pretty incredible. But it means that studios are under huge pressure to deliver more and more content that players find enjoyable at a higher quality, faster than ever. But with tight budgets and busy in-house teams, how do they keep up? Well, they call in a bit of help from external studios who are specialised, scalable, and reliable. And that's where our outsourcing studios like Athena come in. Game art outsourcing is when external teams or freelancers handle part or sometimes all of a studio's production. That might be concept art, modelling, animation, code, QA, and it allows teams to stay focused on their strengths while still delivering incredible results. And for artists, it's a great way to work on a diverse, high-impact amount of projects without relocating or committing to a single genre or a studio full-time. Studios are realising they don't have to do it all in-house. They can plug into expert pipelines that are ready to go, and for game developers, it means flexibility, especially for smaller studios where hiring full-time artists may not yet be feasible, or perhaps there isn't enough work for a full-time hire. It may also just be a short-term solution as you try to find that perfect person to join you full-time. We all know that you can't rush a hire. And it can also help studios to keep costs down while staying agile and, like we mentioned earlier, leaner. Another example is that you may have a deadline that is rapidly approaching and you quickly need 3 concept artists this week. Well, that's what an outsourcing studio can give you. It can quickly ramp up or ramp down your team in a very, very flexible way. It is also near impossible to have all the answers to everything in game development. And sometimes having outside access to artists who have different experiences, talents, and ideas can bring something fresh and new to the table. And often those fresh perspectives can be a real game changer. And if you're an artist working in an outsourcing studio, you're constantly growing. One day you might be designing, a gritty sci-fi prop for a AAA game, and the next you may be building a whimsical environment for an indie puzzle game. It's fast-paced, it's collaborative, and it sharpens your skills across genres, workflows, and pipelines. There are a few misconceptions that we hear quite a bit, so let's go through them briefly. Outsourcing equals cheap work. While there will always be studios who offer extremely low rates, that doesn't always equal quality. And sometimes going cheaper can cost you more money and stress in the long run trying to correct those mistakes. Studios lose creative control. A good outsourcing studio works with you. At Athena, we see ourselves as part of a client's team, aligning on vision, goals, and feedback loops. You stay in control, always. Only juniors work in outsourcing, and that is far from it. While juniors are absolutely supported and nurtured, most outsourcing studios are built around experienced mid and senior level talent. We tackle complex briefs, solve tricky pipeline issues, and support studios at every stage of development. The reality, great outsourcing is a partnership. It works well when trust, communication, and craft all come together harmoniously. So how does it all work? What is the process of outsourcing? Here's what a typical project looks like inside Athena. At the beginning, we'll often have calls with clients to discuss their project needs and how we can help. And once we get the go-ahead, we get the brief from the client. So we start with a clear brief from clients, which includes photos, videos, art bibles, timelines, and tech specs. This step is all about clarity. What's the vision? What are the constraints? And what are the priorities? We share early sketches, mood boards, or blockouts, whatever's appropriate to that certain task. Clients will then give feedback and we adjust. It's all about quick loops and clear communication. Once it's approved, we finalise the work, whether it's a character concept with turnaround, marketing art with a PSD that can be split apart, or high quality work, or props that will be passed on to a 3D modeler. It is polished, organised, and ready for the next stage of development or whoever's going to be taking it on from there. It's collaborative, structured, and hopefully fun. Let's be real, there are a lot of outsourcing studios out there, so how do you choose the right one? For game devs, looking for a great partner, portfolio is step one, but don't just stop there. You need to look for experience in your genre or style, whatever resonates most with your project. So previous projects are a great early indicator of this, but a lot of studios cannot share their work due to NDAs, so make sure that you chat to them, see if they have any examples that they could show you or anything like that. And responsiveness in early conversations and a communication style that matches your team culture is a must. And this is where having early meetings to meet the outsourcing team is so useful. And testimonials can also be a fantastic way of seeing how previous clients have found that outsourcer and whether that is something that you would also like in a partner. And remember, you don't have to go all in on one day. You can start small, test the waters, build trust. You can always do a very small task to begin with, and then once you are trusting in their abilities, you can then expand what you're looking for. And for artists, the whole advice here also applies to you too. If you're thinking of joining a studio like Athena, pay attention to how we talk about projects, feedback, and development. It will tell you a lot about how we work with people, not just for them. For artists, outsourcing can be a career full of project variety and teamwork. For game studios, it's a smarter, more flexible, sustainable way to build beautiful games without overloading your team or your resources. If you're a game developer curious about outsourcing or a concept artist exploring the industry, let us know your questions in the comments. And if you want to see more behind the scenes of how we create concept art, make sure you hit subscribe. We've got a lot more coming. See you later.